It is not the function of our government to keep the citizen from falling into error. It is the function of the citizen to keep the government from falling into error. By Robert Jackson. Mothers all want their sons to grow up to be president, but they don't want them to become politicians in the process. By John F. Kennedy. And with that, I welcome you to Atn Politics. On Atn Politics, this is the network's flagship program that discusses core political trends with relevant political stakeholders. On Atlantic Television Network Politics, we will be discussing core issues from different political landscapes, such as in Delta State, the PDP lambasts APC's financial policies. In Anambra State, opposition kick against hurried local government elections. In Adamawa State, local government polls tribunals receives petitions. And end bad governance protests, minister accuses sponsors of regime change. We'll take a very short break, and when we return, we introduce our guests and we'll head straight for the political discussion for today. Do stay tuned. It's my pleasure to welcome you back on ATN Politics right here in Atlantic Television Network in the city of Port Harcourt. I am your host, Raymond Ken Mbata, and my guest today is a legal practitioner and socio-political analyst. His name, Barrister Handsome Kinikanwo. It's a pleasure having you on the show again, sir.
Pleasure is mine.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's move to the first story for discussion today. In Delta State, the People's Democratic Party yesterday said that the All Progressive Congress lacked the credibility to discuss debt management in the state. It said that the APC-led federal government has presided over heavy and reckless borrowing, escalating the national debt stock from about 7 trillion naira after about 16 years of the PDP governance to over 90 trillion naira under its 8 years of the APC, leading to a situation in which 97% of Nigeria's national revenue was devoted to debt servicing and the attendant reduced revenue allocations to states and local governments. The PDP stated this while reacting to what it described as the misguided propaganda by the Delta State chapter of the APC to misinform the public on the debt management measures being undertaken by the administration of Governor Sheriff Oboriwori. The state's chapter of the PDP, in a statement by Secretary Mr. Dan Osai, said that the APC merely tried to disinform the public by attempting to play down the significance of Governor Oboriwori's act of responsibility in reducing the debt profile of the state to ensure greater financial stability and sounder economic health. Yeah, Barrister, sir, we are seeing a situation in Delta State wherein the APC and PDP are in a conflict of interest as pertains financial illiteracy and financial management, and each of them are accusing the other of being financially literate, and being that they have lapses on both the national and the state part of it, and it has just been going in back and forth. This is a political show, but wherein political parties start trying to ascertain if they are financial bigwigs as it pertains administration of the countries and the state's resources. Do we acquiesce to what the APC said, that the PDP is mismanaging Delta State funds, or that the PDP is right in that APC is mismanaging national funds?
Well, it's really funny, the country where we find ourselves. Those days when I was in university, there was this course we offered in logic.
Yeah. And
then you have fallacies, different kinds of fallacies. You have one that is referred to as the fallacy of ad hominem tukweke.
Okay.
It's a fallacy against a person. Tukweke simply means you too. And so when I say you stole, you say you too, you never steal.
Yeah.
Rather than I didn't steal, you try to explain what you're doing. Rather than give that explanation, you resort to the fallacy of ad hominem tukweke. You too. So the Delta State PDP is saying that the party in the state is mismanaging the resources of the state. Now, rather than the state government to come out to show the people what they've been doing with the resources that they have gotten so far, Delta State is the highest, received the highest revenue from the federal allocation. I think second to Rivers,
yeah,
and Akwa Ibom.
Exactly.
So rather than tell the people within this period of time, this is how much we've gotten, and this is what we've done with the resources. We are not mismanaging the resources. They are saying at the national level, you people too, you are mismanaging. Yeah. It's an error in reasoning when it comes to logic. It's a grave error in reasoning. So that this national government is mismanaging resources, it's not a criteria for you as a state government to begin to mismanage your resources. That is if they are mismanaging the resources, okay, as the party in the state is claiming.
Yeah.
It is for you to come up and tell the people, this is what we've done, This is what we've done. This is the investments we've done. We've done this, we've done that. It's not for you to begin to say at the national level, we are in debt to from 6 billion to about 97 billion dollars. It's not an explanation. It's just like a child goes to school, comes back, he has failed his exam, and you're telling the child, you failed. You say, what, Emeka too failed now. It's not an explanation. Some persons have passed that same exam that the child sat for. So what the party in Delta State is doing is not good for us as citizens. Opposition party are there to checkmate the ruling party. So if there are no oppositions, who will checkmate what the government is doing? It is because you have the knowledge of the facts that if we mismanage resources, there are oppositions. There are those who ask us questions. That is what will put you on your toes to ensure that you manage resources of everybody who is in Delta State. It is for you to utilize resources to their own benefit. And they don't begin to tell us that the national APC at national estimates. So that is an excuse. It's very funny.
Okay,
very funny.
Let's zero in on Delta State per se, because we won't want to go into the national economy and start dissecting as at now. It will take a lot of our time, but we can do the little that we can for Delta State, being that we have at least a little indices about what they receive, and also IGR and all that. How do you evaluate the government of Governor Sheriff Oborowori concerning financial management in Delta State?
You see, what is happening in Delta State it's a sad one, because all of us from this zone, the South-South zone, in fact, what is happening across the states in the South-South zone is a very sad one. Every month you see the kind of resources that comes to these states. What do they do with it? What is the education system like in Delta State? I'm not aware that in Delta States, the students perform better in the just concluded JAMB examination that was very poor. Resources should have been channeled to ensure that the education system in Delta State is working. I could remember many years ago when, I think it was Peter Obi, when he was governor of Anambra State. Anambra was going very down in terms of education. But with strict policy, in fact, he had a policy wherein he had interface with senior prefects of secondary schools. He had interface with teachers, classroom teachers, and not for him to sit in the office and listen to one director or one commissioner telling him about what is happening in schools. He went down to ensuring that the students themselves were giving reports to him. And with that, we were able to see that within that period, I think between 2008, 9, 10, there was significant improvement in Anambra State with respect to their education sector. Here in Rivers State, within the period before 2015, I think 2013, Rivers State was even declared the World Bull Capital because of the investments of the state government then, I think under Chibukero Timiamichi, in education sector. It was the first state to achieve that feat in sub-Saharan Africa. Because if you go to our schools, till date, most of those schools is unfortunate. They are being overgrown by weeds and a lot of things about. But then if you go to those schools, you see the facilities, you see government investments in ensuring that education is functional in Rivers State, especially primary education. What is happening in Delta State? So if you go to health, what is there? What is happening there too? You go to employment. In fact, the states in the Niger Delta states, especially South states, that receive the higher resources are always ranking higher in all of these negative indices.
What could be the cause of, in particular, of Delta states?
Yes.
I know that it's multi-ethnic. It's not just one ethnic group there. It's multi-ethnic, but at least we could count how many ethnic groups that are there. It's not like maybe in Rivers State that has more ethnic groups. But at least in Delta State, would you say, can you put a finger to what you think might be the cause of underdevelopment as in comparison with what they receive?
We both know. We both know. The state governments in Delta States is as guilty as every other state. The cost of running governance is crazy. Go and check how many commissioners they have. Check how many appointees they have. Check how much they earn. then you begin to know that resources that should have been channeled to other meaningful activities will be utilized to take care of political appointees who, in any case, do not add any value in the society or in the state. What is the value of appointing 30 media aides in a state like Delta State, for instance? What is the value? It is of no value. So even if the state is multi-ethnic group, there is a conglomerate, there are over 350 ethnic groups in Delta States, it is not the ethnic groups that will manage resources. Listen, we have a governor in that state. He has his deputy, he has his commissioners, those that are working with him. There is the legislative arm who are there to ensure that they make laws for the good governance of the state. It is their responsibility, and I can tell you for free that usually, and of course it is constitutional, that in appointments like this, you take cognizance into the fact that all the ethnic groups, at least the majority ethnic groups, are represented in your government so that people will have a sense of belonging.
Exactly.
So the ethnic groups that make up Delta States are all involved in this government. So it is their responsibility to ensure that their resources are channeled properly, cut down on overhead costs, for crying out loud. Cut it down. You see a governor going for a function, the convoy is crazy. That is taxpayers' money that they are burning. Whereas you see, I watched one of the states visits in I think that was France and America. France visited US, yes, during the peak of this Israel and Hamas crisis.
Yeah,
I'm talking about presidents of first world countries. I saw the fleet. It is nothing compared to what our president would do here, or even governors would do here. That is burning taxpayers' money unreasonably. So it is for them to have clear-cut policies. What do I want to do in education? You go ahead and do it. Okay. What do I want to do in health? You go ahead and make sure that you appoint those who has the knowledge to man those sectors. You don't just appoint people for political patronage. Because when you do that, you end up appointing people who, like we say in our local parlance, putting round pegs in square holes. It will never work. So the crisis, the developmental crisis in Delta States, which is also the same in all the states across the nation, is high cost of governance, political patronage rather than appointing people based on meritocracy, and then, of course, the corruption tendency. The corruption in Nigeria is smelling to the high heavens. It's crazy. You cannot apply for a job in Delta States. We're using Delta States as, it's not as if other states are better.
Exactly.
You cannot apply for a job in Delta States and get it on merit. It's difficult. You cannot. And so when you get people into the civil service who are not qualified or who are grossly incompetent into the civil service, what do you expect them to do? You cannot give what you do not have. In legal parlance, we call it nemo dat quod non habet. You don't give what you don't have. You only give what you have. If you're a first class grade, that's how you deliver. If you're a second class, that's how you deliver. If you're a dropout, that's how you deliver. So that's just it. It is for the government to sit down, get a clear-cut policy for themselves. Those days we used to have the Sepadek in Delta State and what they did in Delta State.
Exactly.
But this present governor, the name I don't even know. That much. I don't even know the deputy governor, not to talk of the commissioners. What agencies, who are those he's working with? We don't even know them. That's the problem.
Okay. Let's move on to Anambra State. Members of the opposition party have condemned the hurried plan by Professor Chukwuma Soludo-led government in Anambra State to conduct local government elections in the state. The Anambra State Independent Electoral Commission, ANSEC, had last Monday announced that though there have been clamor for local government elections in the state, opposition politicians are saying that the rush by the commission was meant to ambush them, to give way for Soludo's APGA or Progressive Grand Alliance to take all the 21 local governments areas, a member of the House of Representatives and chieftain of the Labour Party, Honorable Afam Victor Ogene, expressed concerns over the hasty amendment of the Anambra State electoral law by the State House of Assembly and the scheduling of the election. He described the move as a promotion of undemocratic tactics aimed at frustrating opposition parties in the state. Ogene, in a statement he signed and made available to journalists in Awka, queried the amendment of the law from 60 days notice to parties to prepare for the election to 30 days. All right, Barrister, we are seeing an offshoot of the rush to do away with caretaker committee chairman and institute legally elected chairman in Anambra State after 10 years of caretakership. I mean, they have the crown in caretaker committeeship per se. So, and already the opposition is crying foul. Abga, as with the instrumentality of the governor, is now backtracking from the 60 days that was supposed to be given to 30 days.
For starters, the powers to make and amend laws is domiciled with the legislative arm.
Yeah.
In the case of Anambra State, that is the Anambra State House of Assembly.
Yeah.
But you see, it's a pity. It's sad that since the return of democracy in 1999 date, the State Assembly, which ought to be, let me use the word, the State Houses of Assembly, which ought to be an independent arm of the government, have always been an appendage of the executive arm. And so the governor wants to do a thing, he will just call the speaker or the leader of the house, this is what I want to do. They will just sit and in a few minutes they will do it. It's also applicable in the national government, also how budgets are being passed, especially these executive budgets, member bill.
Exactly.
When they send them, you see how speedy, in less than, it's gone. So that is what happens in Anambra State. That's what happened there. Ordinarily, it is the duty of the legislative arm to amend the law. If the law has said 60 days and there is a reason for which they want to make it 30 days, it is within their powers, of course, to make those laws. But there are processes to amend those laws. There are processes. There should be public hearing. Yeah. People should, okay, we want to take it from 60 days to 30 days. This is the reason. People should be able to make inputs. But, of course, as customary in Nigeria, the governor may have, it may be correct that the opposition have the information, they have the way of getting the information that the governor wants to do something funny. But you know the funny thing, Ray? Yeah. Even if they give them 120 days, I can tell you for free that 98% of the states in Nigeria, I think it was only El-Rufai that tried to conduct something that looked like a credible election in Kaduna State when he was governor, where we saw oppositions winning certain local governments. Check all the local governments in Nigeria. I said 98. 99.99% of the chairmen, the councillors, are usually from the state. Why? Because they don't conduct elections. It is the problem what we see with the INEC. That is the problem we also see with the state's independent electoral commissions. So even if they give them 120 days notice, I can tell you for free that it will be very, very difficult for any party other than ABGA to win elections in Anambra State. Not because ABGA is a popular political party or because the other parties are not popular, but it is because of the bad politics we play in Nigeria. We play very bad politics where we just tell ourselves that we are practicing democracy, whereas what we are practicing is even worse than tyranny. As a student of Socrates those days when I was in school, I was wondering why Socrates did not okay democratic government. I realized that of recent because he was the wisest man that lived in Athens. He hated and criticized democracy. And I was wondering, why will a wise man like Socrates criticize democracy? A government that allows people to participate in government. Why will he? I am just realizing it now.
Okay.
Because what happens is that politicians will come in form of, it's about the people. Whereas the people will not be allowed to cast their votes. Even when they cast their votes will not be allowed to count. Here in Rivers State, just last year election, also what happened. I voted. I almost fought in my unit. In my polling unit, I almost fought. Why? But election is not like that. UK conducted an election a few months ago. Yeah. But we are going about their normal businesses.
Exactly.
My friend who is schooling there, he went to work on that day. He didn't have classes. He went to work on that day. Came back, cast his vote. Slept. It's nothing, but here in Nigeria, election is war. And so when there is election, curfew will be declared from 9 o'clock till 9 o'clock round. That is the kind of election we conduct, and we call it democracy. Whereas, in many of those polling units, in fact, state elections, at least I've witnessed a lot of them in Port Harcourt here. You don't even see the results. Was it not Tony Okocha that came out to tell us how they do it?
Okay, but in this case...
So it will be different from what will happen in Anambra. So even if they give them 120 days notice, it will be different. And it's a very sad one.
Okay, but the National Assembly has a bill that is still with them concerning local governments, a body for local government elections separately. And INEC has also come up to say that we can conduct local government as against the state independent electoral commissions. Which of these bodies do you think could be able to deliver a free and fair election at the local government level?
INEC is saying they want to conduct
government levels. Yes.
Just
now, why INEC say so is because they claim that they do that for Abuja, and Abuja is also having a reflection of all parties, and that it doesn't occur as it happens in Abuja in any other state, and that if the opportunity is given to them, they will also deliver for all local governments just as they do for Abuja.
You see, FCT is special in Nigeria.
Yeah.
So while you have houses of assemblies across the 36 states, you don't have any for the FCT.
Exactly.
It is the National Assembly that make laws for the FCT.
Very true.
While in all the states, you have governors and deputy governors. In FCT, you do not have governor and deputy governors.
Yes.
You have the FCT minister.
Very true.
So FCT is a special state in Nigeria.
Yeah.
And so that is why, with due respect to the decisions of courts that we say, some of us do not agree that FCT, you should lose election in FCT and become the president. Some of us do not agree, because the constitution is clear as to the number of votes you get, and then it uses the word "and" is conjunction in English language, and FCT. That's to tell you the special status of FCT. But many persons have come up, oh, there is nothing special about FCT, and we've asked, why do we not have a governor in FCT? Why do we not have houses of assembly in FCT? So if that is the ground for the argument, that because they conduct the election for FCT, they can also conduct, I agree that the state's electoral commissions do liaise with INEC most times. They don't even have data. They get it from INEC. Most times when they want to conduct election, in fact, all the times when they want to conduct election, they liaise with INEC, get the voters registers and things like that, which they use to conduct the election. But INEC as a body has not been able to show Nigerians that they can conduct credible, free, fair elections. Over the years, the closest we had was 2015 election. The closest we had was 2015 election. Besides that, INEC have shown that they don't have what it takes to conduct elections. So
it falls on the new body being created by the National Assembly?
That's what I'm saying is, why create the body? Why should there be... See, we claim that we practice federalism, but we don't know what federalism is all about.
Okay.
If you go to America, where we copied our federalism, they have counties.
Yeah.
Counties in America is like local government, what we call local government. Do you know, by November, America will be conducting elections. They don't have a central body which is akin to INEC in Nigeria that will conduct the election.
Yeah.
It is the counties, those local governments, that will conduct the election to determine who will be the president of the United States of America. They don't have a national body like we have INEC. The election is being conducted at the local level. They will collect the result until all the counties must have voted, and then they announce the winner of the election. An election there is not a one-day thing. You see, we just copy, and we don't know how to copy.
What system would have worked for Nigeria if America does not have an INEC? America does not have a federal electoral body.
Yeah.
And Nigeria decides to have one. And we have not been satisfied with the results that have been coming forth. What do you propose?
Let us copy correctly. We don't copy correctly.
We should start from the local government.
See, people are talking about overbordering the center, giving too much powers to the center. And then you sit at the National Assembly. You've looked at all the problems in Nigeria. One of the striking problems that is dealing with us is for you to create a body that will be conducting local government elections. Is that not a misplacement of priority? States, local governments should conduct elections for us. We should copy correctly. See, the local governments are lying fallow. What are they doing? Besides issuing birth certificates, local government identification letter. In fact, that's what the local government do.
And
most of the schools
collection of money from markets.
Exactly. Tenement rates, burial levy, market and things like that. Those are the kind of things they do. What are they doing? They're just lying reluctant, doing nothing. In fact, I was watching there's this particular program I watched. A county organized a program. A county, which is, I'm sorry, I'll be using it so our viewers will understand what I mean by county, for those who do not understand.
Exactly.
A county is like a local government. They organize a in the United States of America. The chairman of the county didn't attend. It was people like the appointees, what we call supervisory councilors, that attended. From Nigeria, we had ministers of the Federal Republic of Nigeria that attended that program. Whereas the county chairman didn't attend that program. Oh. So you see how we reduce ourselves because we do not even know what this system of government is about. Why overburden the center? Make this, people have been talking about state police, because we have the federal police, which is, with due respect to them, ineffective. Although people have talked about how the state government will abuse, they should abuse it. The next person will come and also abuse it, use it against them and things. And we'll get to a stage where the whole system will be better. So why overburden the state? Allow the local government, not even the states, to conduct the elections. You want local government autonomy, is it not?
Yeah. Yeah.
So local government cannot conduct elections for themselves. Oh. But you want local government autonomy. What is the autonomy about?
Political autonomy is due. Okay, let me even add it with this story coming from Adamawa State. Adamawa State Local Government Election Petitions Tribunal has received 9 petitions challenging the election of some chairmen during the recent polls in the council areas. The 9 petitioners, who were mostly candidates of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, are challenging the election of some of the newly inaugurated chairmen. All the chairmen for the 21 local government councils in the state declared elected after the July 13 council polls are of the People's Democratic Party. We are lumping both together.
You know, when we are talking about Anambra, I told you.
Exactly.
For free. That even if they give them 120 days notice, if you're not from the ABGA, which is the ruling party in that state, you will not win the election. Yeah. It is not because they are popular.
Yes.
This is just an example of it.
Enough time was given in Adamawa State.
What happened?
The ruling party,
all of them, the ruling party. That is what happens in Nigeria. So, you see.
So you prefer a solution that let the counties, let the local government
conduct the election for themselves.
So who are going to conduct, which body is going to be in charge of conducting local government elections in Nigeria, in our peculiarity?
See, what I'm saying is...
Yes. Is it INEC?
No, INEC, no.
Is it ANSEC? Is it the CX?
Even the states.
Is it the local government body that is still in the labor room in the National Assembly, sir?
You see, the local government elections, local government should be able to conduct elections for themselves. All of us, whether you're the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, you're in the National Assembly, you are from a local government.
Yes.
Your people know you better.
Exactly. So,
elections should be conducted from there. When we were in school, at university level, how do they conduct elections? It is faculty by faculty.
Yes.
When I was at Uniport, I had the privilege of contesting an election. Faculty by faculty, that's how the results were coming. Each faculty was conducting an election for that faculty. And at the end of the day, the result is collected. So the local government, since we want autonomy, shouldn't just be financial autonomy. If you give someone financial power, who is also occupying a political position, and he has no political power, I don't know, you're making a mess of his. He's not different from a businessman who has economic power. Because there are certain things you will do with political power that economic power cannot do for you.
Exactly.
There are things you will need political power to do. Yes. So if we want the local government and allow them to conduct elections for themselves, for the states, and for the national election. So when we are getting to 2027 for elections, the local government elections, the local government electoral body should be able to conduct election in all the local governments. In this local government, this party A1, it will move to the state. It will move to the national. And the result is collected. Everybody now knows who is the winner. In fact, at this age and time, we are talking about digital elections. Is not something that you conduct in a day even. In countries like America, which all of them, they run to America, they go there. They don't conduct election in a day.
Even India.
They don't conduct election in a day.
A large democracy as India.
So, you see, so local government can conduct the elections. If we say, oh, because of security, they can stagger election. In fact, I noticed that when we have staggered elections, from my observation, it appears we have lesser violence. You have something that appears to be more credible election because all attention are in that particular state.
Exactly.
So it's a bit difficult. But when you have a national election where out of the 36 states plus FCT election is going on, of course, with the manpower we have with respect to security agencies, they don't have what it takes to ensure that election is free from violence. So it is for us to now allow this local government. You can stagger it. Okay, South-South zone, the election will be conducted on day 1 to day 3. So you now have all efforts. The international community who will be coming to observe the elections, the media houses who will be coming to observe the election, security agencies, they are supposed to secure voters who are coming out to vote. Everybody will pay adequate attention to that zone. After that day, everybody knows the result. You move just like that because of our own peculiarity. We are in a digital age where people are not clamoring for online election. I should be able to vote from my house.
Exactly.
I should just sit at the comfort of my home and vote.
Including the diaspora are supposed to also vote.
These are things that we can do. We can do it. Today, you can't open a bank account without a BVN. Yeah. Why can't we bring that kind of technology into our electoral system? They will not. And the reason is simple, because many of them impose themselves on us under the guise of democracy. Yeah. So if you have 10,000 naira in your account, you withdraw 5,000. You can't go back to that bank and withdraw 10,000. It's not possible. That's how this system can be structured, and it will work perfectly well. They know, but they will not do it because it will not favor them. In fact, I got a privileged information that there are places across the states, it happens, where INEC officials go, register people, and they do not release the cards.
Whoa.
They do not release the cards. Then when it's election proper, those cards will now be used for a particular candidate. We are talking about INEC, the same INEC that want to conduct election for local government and everybody. Themselves, they will not be able to conduct credible election. It's a privileged information, so there are things I shouldn't say. They go to that place, get enough, they have enough to win an election in a state like Rivers, for example. So it is high time, even if we want to have a national body that which I do not subscribe to, it is time we create a transparent form of election so that with my ATM card, I can vote. With my NIN, I can vote. It's all about my choice, even with my BVN, because there is no Nigerian who is banking that do not have BVN. And you cannot, in fact, if you open an account in Bank A, you go to Bank B and it's a different name, you give them a BVN, they see that the age and your name is different, they'll have to refer you, go and make corrections. You now go and swear affidavits, make corrections, they come to make sure that everything tallies. Yeah. Why can't we bring that kind of system? If the banking system is operating that way, why can't we bring it into our politics? See, it will do us a lot more good. Exactly. Why? Because the political office holders will now know that truly power belongs to the people. Yeah. If I do not perform, I will not be having the opportunity of coming back.
Exactly.
But when they know that they can box themselves into office, go to hell.
Very true. Very true. All right, at Atlantic Television Network here, we are open for advert placements, bookings, and commercials, and you can also connect with us and watch us on our ATN socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, on X, formerly Twitter, Atlantic TV Net, or watch us live on our website, atlanticnetwork.tv. We have still been, and we are still here with Barrister Kinikanwo Hanson. He's a political analyst and also a legal practitioner, and we have one more story for him to dissect here for us. The Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Mr. Dele Alake, has alleged that sponsors of the End Bad Governance protests were gunning to change governance in the country. He equally alleged that they were plotting to thwart the nation's democracy, but thankfully Nigerians resisted the move. His personal reaction came shortly after the Council of State meeting, which was attended by two immediate past presidents, Goodluck Jonathan and Muhammadu Buhari. Alaka said that he would not call it a protest, but a calculated attempt to effect a change in government. Yes, sir, I know that we are still within the throes of what transpired within the protest period. But that's the Minister of Solid Minerals, Dele Alake, making some insinuations and pointing some fingers. Do you think that he's pointing the right fingers at the right people? Are the protesters, the planners of the protesters, trying to effect a regime change that is alien to our constitution in a manner of change that is alien to our constitution? Barrister?
You see, that kind of statement tells you the kind of persons we have holding public offices in Nigeria. How their thought process is, tells you. I protested. I was among those that protested.
Did you wish in any way for the government to change?
Why? All I wanted was...
But are there insinuations, or is it a possibility that some planners were actually calling for regime change? Did you hear something like Tinubu must go?
We all watched. Yes, people came to that Tinubu must go because of how the protest was being handled.
Do you think maybe that is what...
That is not it. That is not it. It was how it was... See, the thing is this. The government was so scared. They wear thoughts. They don't communicate. They don't tell Nigerians what they are doing. You see, so they were scared. They didn't know what would happen. And so they started all of this propaganda of regime change. People are sponsored. I am telling you that here in Port Harcourt, many of my friends, we spent money buying water for those who came to protest, who do not have money to buy water because of the long distance walk. The protest was simply end bad governance.
How was that? End bad governance that day?
Do we have good governance in Nigeria?
Was it supposed to be the president to step? Yes.
See, you came to power and you've made more Nigerians poor. You came to power and you're making more Nigerians suffer. This is all indices of bad governance. You came to power. Look at the foreign exchange. Look at the rate. $1 is about 1,006. Whereas it was around 800, 900 when you came to power. So look at the economy. There's nothing happening. You've told us countless times how the refineries will work. In fact, just was it yesterday or so, they've moved it again. Port Harcourt refinery. These are the bad governance we are talking about. You've appointed a lot of persons in your cabinet who we've not seen them do anything reasonable that is affecting Nigerians. And we are saying, end this kind of governance. And you're saying it's regime change. How is it regime change? Are you giving us good governance and then we are coming to say you should end the good governance? No. This is not the first time Nigerians are protesting. And it will not be the last. When there are policies that affect the people negatively, the people will react. This president and those sitting with him as his ministers, many of them had protested. The minister of FCT that was championing no protest in FCT, he was part of those that started the protest against NSAS, in favor of NSAS. In fact, he criticized the SAS, the Special Anti-Robbery Squad, known as SAS. He criticized them how they take people to the ATM. He protested against it. During the protest proper, he came out and he had...
That have not taken
These are the things Nigerians were clamoring for. I've just told you the last time I came here, I don't drive my car. How many Nigerians don't drive their cars? If you're spending 1,900 per liter, how many liters of PMS do you think you can? And again, it's crazy. The kind of PMS we have now is so light. It burns faster than the... I've been driving for a while. And I can tell you, those days, if I buy like 10,000 10 liters of PMS, I know how long it takes before I'll buy another. If I buy 20, I know. But today, it's no longer like that. It's very, very light. So it burns faster. So this is what the protest is. And again, it tells you that the minister and those in this government, they saw this protest as nothing.
Oh, but what if he
saw the minister is coming up
saw some Russian flags on the air and people asking for...
Who told you it's not the politicians that sponsored that?
There are no facts to that effect.
Of course, now, that's what they do. See, let me tell you. Protests are usually peaceful until they infiltrate. Because that's the only way because they feel that if people keep protesting, because as the day goes by, it's gaining more momentum, people will keep coming. They will find a way to end it. EndSARS, for instance, it was very, very peaceful. In fact, it was a carnival. People were coming there and enjoying themselves while they were making their statements until they infiltrated. In Lagos, there was a dynamite explosive. Was it the protesters that did it? It was those sent by the government that did that. It was those they sent that came to throw explosive. But Lagosians were very resolute. And if the minister is coming up to say that this protest is all about regime change, it shows the kind of persons who have in public office. People are crying that they cannot eat. Prices of goods are going so high, whereas the quantity is being reduced. In fact, there's a particular boy that went viral during the protest here in Port Harcourt. He said, what happened to the price of fufu? The price go up, the size come down. He was dramatic about it, but that is the reality. Those days we buy fufu of 15 naira. You're good. Today fufu is not 15 naira. It is about 100 naira or 200 depending on your location. And the size is like, if you divide what we used to buy for 15 naira like times 4, that is the size of what we are buying even at a higher price. And you are saying that is about regime change? Come on.
I believe that discussions concerning the merits and demerits of the protests, the nationwide protests, the end hunger and the end bad governance protests, will still be ongoing, even in these studios, even on this show. And I believe that I want to invite you next week for us to really delve deep into the merits and demerits of the end bad governance protests to see what we can learn from it. Let it not just be one other jamboree that just happened. And I will still indulge you to please acquiesce to our invitation for that debate, sir. And I want to use this opportunity to thank